Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Hydra, and this is Rust Console Edition. This episode is all about the power lockdown system. What this is going to do is allow you to spawn in on a bag at any time, or if you're going to log off for at the end of the night, and just flip the switch to close all of your doors. It's perfect for group bases or people that hate going around closing all the doors in their core all the time, um, because it's going to allow you to just close them all at the same time. Um, so this is quite the detailed explanation. It's not easy. I've tried to make this video maybe 10 times explaining this. I think I've got it down now for you, so let's give it a shot. So to start off, what we're going to do is we're going to first set up our door controllers. So in order to set up a door controller, you're going to need to put a door on. You're going to need to have a lock on the door. And then you put the door controller on. When the door controller is on, you're going to run your power in from your little splitter here, and then you're going to be connected directly to the battery. Because these door controllers need power to be on in order to pair it to the door, and that's important. So as long as the door is closed, there's a lock on the door that is unlocked, and there's power being provided to the blocker, you can push the button, the prompt that it gives you, to pair the door. And once the door is paired, it's going to open the door because it's being powered. And when it's powered, the door is open. And when there's no power, the door is closed, which is basically the exactly how this system works. So let's close all these doors for now. And I'm going to disconnect this for now as well, just so I can hit this switch. And then I'm going to reconnect this. So this is the system. How does it work and why do you want to use it? Well, first things first, you're going to need an electrical branch. You're going to need an OR switch, a timer, 2 more electrical branches, a memory cell, an electrical branch, a blocker, and an AND switch. If you want to know how any of these systems work, I did make a video, my very first video in this series, on how all of those things work. So if you need to know, take a look at that video. But I'm just going to give you a brief description of how some of this works in the system. So we have our main power coming in right here, and it's being split off into 2 different ways. The first branch out is going into our laser detector here, and then from the laser detector, it's going to this OR switch. We also have a button here that is also connected to this OR switch. Now, I would recommend that you put this laser at the very beginning of whatever your systems of doors is. So for me, I have 21 doors in my core. So every time I leave my core, that's where this laser is set. So every time I walk through the laser, it's going to activate my lockdown system for me. So I know as soon as I leave my core, even if all my doors are open, I can easily just spawn in on my bag, hit a button, and close all of my doors, no problem. So again, I don't have to close all my doors. And then you also want to have a button. You want to have a manual way of doing it. You want this somewhere in your core, but you don't want it anywhere near this timer. Or you don't want anybody to know that it's connected to that timer in any way. I like to hide this button behind lockers, behind workbenches, even behind the TC here. Just hide this button wherever you can, make it the least visible, and you're going to understand why you're going to want to do that here in just a second. So that's what this red line is powering. It's powering all of just that laser over there, this, and this OR switch. Now this OR switch is going to be connected here into the set switch of the memory cell. So every time that's activated, it's pushing this set button, which is then kicking the power over to the output, which is connected to these lights. So that's how you know when your system is activated, by if these lights are blinking. So I'll run across the laser here, and you see that my lights are blinking. So now I know that my system is activated. Now those are a little annoying, so I'm going to get rid of them. But so now the system is activated. So while the system is activated, this electrical branch is not receiving any power. Actually, let's start back from here. So this is where the next electrical branch comes in. This is where your main power is coming from into this electrical branch, and it's being split into two different directions. So I have two different colored lines for where they're running. The first one here is running from the branch out into this timer. From the timer is going into this electrical branch and then being split into two different directions. First, it's being sending a little bit of power out here to the reset button. So every time I hit this, it resets the system, pushing the power back into the inverted output, giving me the power for my doors. And then it's also, though, sending power through this blocker into our AND switch. And again, you have to have power going through both of these things in order to get the power out. So, while the system is set, which is this one right here. Let's actually take care of that. So, and then the next set of power, this is your door power. This is the power that's going to run all of your doors. So it's going to come out the right side here. It's going to go through the memory cell from the inverted output into the electrical branch. From the right side of the electrical branch, we're going to go into the blocker, so we can block the power going through here, so we don't have power going through both of these at the same time when we don't need it to. And then we're going to go out the left branch out here, and that's going to go into our AND switch. And again, this green line is running the main power into our doors. So one more time, power is coming in from here, going into this electrical branch. It's then being split up. This is not in use until I want it to. This side's always in use. From the memory cell into the inverted, and then it's being split into the blocker and the AND. Now, if I disconnect these doors here, what you're going to see, because my system is active, is you're going to see both of these are going to light up green at the exact same time for half a second. See that? That was all it took in order to run enough power to the door controllers to open them, and then they don't have power, so they close afterwards through their cycle. But now you're going to see that one of the green lights are on. And it's on because all power is being run through here, so it's being run through the blocker. So now, every time I hit this button, it's sending, it's trying to send the power through the blocker, but it can't because it's being blocked. So you can't just sit here and spam your door controller and open all of your doors. You have to either push this button or run across the laser in order to get it set. So I don't mind having this laser set up near, oh, there go my auto lights. But I don't mind having this laser set up because if they go through the wall and they get to my switch, well, they're not going to be able to sit there and run back and forth across that laser in order to reactivate everything. So the button isn't going to be any good. And because I use this every time I log out, the system isn't activated when I log out. The doors are already closed. I don't have to worry about it. However, if they do break through the front door and they can, they know what this laser does or whatever, then by the time they make it to this timer, your base is gone anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But that's why you also don't want to keep this button too close, right? You want to keep this button in your core so you don't have to go all the way to the front of your core in order to do this in an emergency. But at the same time, you don't want it right next to it because somebody can just sit there and push the button, push the timer, push the button, push the timer, and then your doors open and close and people can just run in and out whenever they want. So power values. In order to run this whole system, here, if we go over to our thing here, it takes 15 power to run everything. It takes 15 power to run the whole system. Don't ask me exactly how it all works. Why it takes 15 power. Some of these things are being powered at the same time, I think, so it's taking extra power, but you need 15 power at minimum to run everything, and you can see here because my lights turn green. Oh, actually it's not 15 power. See, it's super important that this blocker gets 1 power. So you can tell if you don't have enough power. There we go. Never mind. I'll set that back to default. So you can tell if you don't have enough power if these things don't turn, if those things don't turn green when you reset it. So there we go. Everything flashed green real quick for me. That's exactly what I wanted. So this whole thing is 15 power. You're going to set this electrical branch. Now, no matter how many doors you have or what you want to run off of this, there's only 2 things that you need to change on this system, and we'll go over that real quick. So this first electrical branch is always 3, always 3. It's only running the laser, the OR switch, and then the reset button. And it's also adding an extra power because it's always being run through the laser to give that extra power for the button to also be able to use the button. So that's always set to 3. Your next one here, this one's always set to 5. Everything off the left here, there's only 5 that needs to be through the system. So 1 for the timer, 2 here for the electrical branch, 3 to go out to the power cell or memory cell, and then 4, 5 to go out to the blocker and then the AND switch. So those are your 5 powers there in order to get the power there. This one right here is set to default 2, right? You don't need to change that to anything because, again, we only need 2 power to go through it, 1 for the blocker, 1 for the AND switch. Now, the only thing that you need to change for yours on this final design that I've got here is this electrical branch right here. This electrical branch needs to be set to however much power you have running through your system. So let's just say here, for instance, I have my 1, 2, 3, I have my 4, and then I have 5. So I have 5 power in total, and then I also have to count the AND switch. So that's 6. So I need 6 power, which is why it was set to 6 before. So I need 6 power in order to run all of those lights. And then what I need to do is I need to come over here and I need to do 15, which is what it's set to. So I need to do 15 plus 6 minus 2, because we already had 2 power in the system because it's 2 by default. So we do 15 automatically for the system, plus 6, so it's 21, and then we need to minus 2 that we already had into the system, so this only needs to be set to 19. And if it's set to 19 and we trigger it and make sure that our power is set up, then we trigger it, all of our doors open, and then they all cycle close. Now, some of you at this point of the video might be thinking, okay, well, what's the point in opening and closing your doors like that? Well, it's actually not meant to be for that. It's meant to be for if you have all of your doors already open. So you've been running around through the core, blah, 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 and now you're logging off or you're about to be raided. Well, now it's just going to automatically close the doors. And it doesn't matter what configuration they're in either. it's automatically going to do that for you. So that's the base lockdown system. Again, it doesn't. The only thing that you need to change is this one and that one over there. Depending on how many doors you have. I'll do one more final example because, again, this is super complicated. I've had lots of questions. So let's just say all of these are connected. We have all 9 doors. So we have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 power. So this would be set to 14. And then this one over here would be 14 plus our 15. So that would be 29 minus 2 is 27. And now we have all the power that we would need in order to open up all 9 doors. Um, yeah, that's it. So just copy exactly what you see here. Exactly what you see here. This branch is 3. This branch is 5. This branch is all of your doors plus your AND switch. This is default 2. And your main power in is your 15 plus your doors minus 2. So 27 in that case. And that's how you do your lockdown system. And believe me, when you don't have to sit there and open and close all of your doors as you're running around your base, coming and going, and you're getting into fights, and you want to get out back out quickly, or you got to get into depot quickly, or whatever you want to do, just leave all your doors open. And then if you hear booming, you log on your bag, hit your button, and you're all good to go. So that is the base lockdown system in a nutshell. I the last time I'm making this video, I worked really hard on this one. It took a lot of it took a lot, this one. So if you could help me out by liking, subscribing, commenting, all of that fun stuff, it would be really helpful. Um, Even just to let me know that this helped you, that'd be great too. And for my next episode, which is going to be my last episode of this series, is going to be a fun one, which is why I saved it for last. And it's going to be all about my automatic elevator system. It works using lasers, so you'll be able to just walk into the elevator, do a little hop. So I call it the greatest jump up in Rust because you do have to jump. But you'll be able to walk up to the elevator, just stand there, it'll call the elevator to you. You walk in, you hop on either side, and it'll bring you up or down the floors depending on which way you hop. And yeah, that's going to be a ton of fun. So that's it for this setup, this stage. Again, any more questions, comments, concerns, please, please, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm more than happy to help you guys out. And any tips that you guys have for me that might make some of these systems a little bit more either robust or um, I can configure them in a different way so I can use a little bit less power, then all of those tips would be greatly appreciated. But I have spent a lot of time getting these things down to the bare bones that I could and to make things easy as I can for you guys. Yeah, so I will see you guys probably in a day or two, maybe a couple days, with my elevator build, and then after that, I'm going to be doing some base building. Um, what is it? Not really like a base building guide. I mean, I do have a few small base designs, or not small, but a couple small, couple medium base designs that I can give to you guys that are going to be super strong and help you guys out in the beginning and mid game, end games, that kind of stuff. But I'm going to go more into build theory. Um, Most of my builds here are based off of math right? So like, it doesn't matter which way you raid the base, it's all going to be the same amount of rockets to get through it, that kind of stuff. So you guys don't have to live in these big, giant, massive castles anymore to feel safe. You can live in something a little bit smaller, a little bit more manageable for your TC upkeep and stuff like that. So um, be on the lookout for those. I'm also going to be doing some trap bases and a few other things. So be on the lookout for those. Anyway, I will see you guys in a few days. Thank you guys very much for checking it out. Like, subscribe, and see you in the next one.